one.
'Cause I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. Across the deserts bare, man. I've breathed the mountain air, man. I've traveled, I've had my share, man. I've been everywhere. Been to Tullamore, Seymour,
Canada.
Lullaby, Nambour,
Canada.
Moorstown, Marilla,
Canada.
Lemmerville,
Where the hell's Canada?
Strathclyde,
I think we're about to find
Crossmine,
out.
Dalla, Darwin, Gingin, Lillaquen, Muckdilla, Wallumbilla, Bugabilla, Cumberland,
Canada.
Ramacur. I've been everywhere, man.
Ah,
I've been
yeah.
everywhere, man.
That's a song called I've Been Everywhere by Lucky Star. And
Not by Bob Dylan.
No, it wasn't by Bob Dylan. In fact, written by a bloke called Jeff Mack, whose
Yeah.
real name was Jeff McElhinney, but that's okay. I'm doing a project called the I've Been Everywhere Project, and I'm interviewing people who live in towns from all over Australia who are mentioning that. One of them towns is called Gunnedah, and if we go to Gunnedah now, I'm very confident now that we're going to talk to Kate Johnson. Good morning to you, Kate.
Hello.
She's there.
Ooh, phew. You've got Neil, you've already spoken to Rob.
Well, not really. Hello, Kate. How are you? It was a very brief conversation that we had. Kate, good morning. We were a little nervous because we couldn't find you for a moment. But
And it was my fault. I told you 10:45 and he rang at 10:44.
We are delighted to have you, and there's an obvious and always first question on this segment. Where the hell is Gunnedah?
That is a great question. Our probably closest claim to fame is we're about 80 kilometres outside of Tamworth, obviously, the country music capital of Australia. So we're quite regional out in the northwest.
And it's funny because we think northwest New South Wales and we think Lightning Ridge. New South Wales is a really sort of uninhabited for half of it. So you're not northwest, you're kind of just northwest.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Made no sense to me, but not
Yeah.
much you say does.
Thank you very much. So Gunnedah, I believe, is on the Oxley Highway. Someone told me the other day, and so it's not somewhere that Victorians would necessarily go to all that frequently. I wouldn't have thought.
No, look, a lot of people sort of may go through sort of Tamworth up if they're sort of travelling up to Queensland quite frequently. However, we do find quite a lot of tourists do make the pit stop and they will actually come out through Gunnedah.
So what is the single best feature of the town that you would tell a Victorian, you're coming to Queensland, you've got to come to Gunnedah because?
You can't say because there's a really good real estate agency there. You've got to come up with something else.
Oh, well, that's what I would have said first. But secondly, no. Honestly, our people, our town, it is just beautiful. This time of year, the jacarandas are out. It is absolutely gorgeous. Just walking down the main street, our people are beautiful.
Yeah, I think a lot of Australian towns have that going for them, but you really need to go there to experience it, and you're dead right. There is a feeling when you walk into the bakery or the hotel or the real estate agent, and there's some warmth and comfort that towns do really well, and it sounds to me like you're awfully proud of yours.
I am so proud of Gunnedah and the things we've been able to achieve there. We have a council that is very supportive of business, so given we're regional, we actually have some incredible businesses and really brilliant, great minds like in our town. And so, I think October was Small Business Month, so the council puts on a lot of workshops, and so there's a lot of encouragement. We've found we've actually got quite a lot of ring-ins, people who have moved to the area and started businesses and had that, confidence and backing from the town to be able to go out and, live their dreams. So I'm one of the ones who have been lucky enough to do that also.
Yeah, the beauty of the country towns to me is that the businesses are required to run the town, whether that be farmers or the businesses are in the city, and when they're enriched, they in return enrich the community, and it either financial or I just love the people who run the business, but they're also the life member of the footy club or the golf club, or they're on council and they're looking out for the interests of what's going around the place, and that's why these little places do thrive, because everyone is looking out for everyone else's best interests.
There is. There's absolutely people want to see people succeed. I do quite a lot of work for one of our local churches, and there's a fellow who's retired. I believe he would be in his late 70s or 80s, and you'll find him at the rugby club volunteering, whether it be lawns or, helping out with maintenance. And then if you go to a race day, we have a beautiful race course and the most magnificent beautiful trees, and it's just a lovely day out. And then you'll see him there with Rotary behind.
Yeah.
It's interesting. And so that's what it's like. People really get involved in the community. We have just had a new mayor elected, and, she's run Meals on Wheels for a really long time. So I find our community, like we really care about one another and want people to succeed. And I think that's probably Gunneda's greatest asset, is its people and its beauty.
So I'm going to help some Victorians out here, because I reached for the maps while you and Rob were having a chat. If a lot of Victorians, if they go to Brisbane, would go up the Newell Highway, and when they get to Coonabarabran, the next big town on the Newell is Narrabri. If you drove along that part of the Newell, Gunnedah is off to the east of there. If you were driving from Newcastle, Rob, not Newcastle to Brisbane along the New England Highway, you would go up through Muswellbrook, Tamworth. Tamworth is kind of further east again. So if you drew a straight line from Coonabarabran to Tamworth, you're kind of going through Gunnedah, if that makes sense.
Just off the beaten track a little bit.
Yeah.
Yep.
But the Oxley Highway goes through, I'm told.
I'm very much into agriculture. That's been pretty much all of my life, Kate. So agriculturally, what happens around Gunnedah?
So much. We have obviously some incredible farmers who have incredibly various different types of crops in what they do. I was only just saying to Neil the other night on his podcast that an amazing time to visit is around that August. We have the most glorious winter days, and on sunset there is nothing more breathtaking than the crops of like the canola in the fields on sunset. It is honestly just breathtaking.
Yeah, and you're quite right. Canola is becoming a bigger part of the Australian agricultural industry, and the beauty that it gives, no matter what region you're in, when the rich greens of spring match this beautiful deep yellows or golden colours of canola. It's a photographer's delight, and then you chuck a sunset or a sunrise into that, heaven on a stick.
Literally.
Now, it's also a town you mentioned the other day that has a bit of mining going on very far away. I assume that means that there's a bit of a transient population as well. Is there a few people coming in and out?
Yeah, absolutely. So our population, I would say, is probably around 14,000 or so. And obviously being a real estate agent, we do a lot of property management and sales. We see people coming in, and there's a lot of families, because the mining salary, whether people love or hate mining, it has made us quite a wealthy town. So what we're seeing is a lot of investors who are investing in the area. So we've had more new structures built than ever. And yeah, there's a lot of families. I think it's a lot of people may come from say the Hunter Valley, which is a few hours away, but I think if you're a wife and you've got children, it can be very hard having, that husband or that partner away. So we're finding a lot of families moving there, and they actually fall in love with the place. I think if you come from a metro area like I had for a while, and you move up there, you do miss certain things. We're not completely spoilt with eateries and, the takeaways and whatever else. But that is one of the glorious things. We have beautiful boutiques and things like that. But I think a lot of people, once they get over that initial shock of the life change, they start to fall in love with it. It's the place, I live sort of near the local golf course, and it's beautiful. Consistently you're seeing families walking their dogs of an afternoon, kids on scooters and bikes, and, new mums pushing their babies around, and, it's literally the heart of the town.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to be living near the golf course if I was playing there. You'd end up with quite a number of golf balls in your backyard, even though you might live 3 kilometres away. I managed to do that.
We were right near a tee off, and everyone said, "Oh, you should be fine." And I think when we were brought the house going through the backyard, I think we found about 10 balls. And I didn't know this was a fear that was unlocked, but now when I walk out to my car, I'm sort of keeping an eye out.
There is an Instagram reel that keeps popping up on my Instagram of a bloke who lives adjacent to a golf course, and whenever a ball comes in the backyard, he lays down, face down in the backyard and puts the ball next to his head.
That's brilliant.
Which I think is quite funny. So I know it's going to happen in your household this afternoon. You're going to be out there laying on your stomach in the backyard with a golf ball next to your head.
Kate, if you're not already, I imagine it won't be long and you'll be sitting on the local council up there. You are clearly a wonderful ambassador for your village and region, and it's been great to chat, and I really do enjoy the vibe you give off about why your place is good, because it's without stealing your thunder, you did a very good job of it, but it's a very common story around small towns around Australia that they're good because the reasons are all the same, and if you drill all the way down to one, it's people, and you obviously love yours.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Kate. If you're looking for Kate, if you're moving to Gunnedah, Kate runs a business called Managed by Kate, so you can find her on the internet if you need to do that.
That way you'll find somewhere to live when you get there.
Absolutely, and you'll have someone smiling at your front door with a bottle of champagne, I have no doubt. If they say that they came to you because they heard about you on the Two Blokes Chatting radio show, do they get a bottle of champagne when they move in?
Oh, absolutely. I'll share it with them.
Done.
Yeah, good on you.
Thanks, Kate.
All the very best, Kate.